Community renewal really is going to exist all over our community. Every neighborhood is going to have some presence of community renewal. We have a very simple plan. It's got 3 steps where we're going to create a network of caring neighbors. We're going to give them the tools they need to successfully and positively engage their neighborhood. And then we're going to meet with them monthly. We're not going to leave them alone. We're going to have ongoing support. We're going to learn from them. They're going to learn from us. Neighbors from all over town are going to learn what's working in their neighborhood to help restore community. And that's really the approach. What we hope to see out of community renewal is a community where people really feel like they belong, like they're wanted, they're valued here, that their neighbors really care about them. They're going to watch out for them rather than be afraid or suspicious of the people that live around them. They're going to know their neighbors and know who they are. And I'll tell you a great story of my own experience in that. A few years ago, I lived in a neighborhood over by Will Rogers, a really great block, a lot of wonderful neighbors. Someone moved in across the street from me that I immediately became suspicious of. I had small children at the time. This person didn't look like me or talk like me, and I'm really telling on myself here. It was a bad experience for me because I didn't think this person was a safe person to be around. And we should all look out for our children, there's no doubt, but I didn't know about that person. I would peek through my shutters and wonder what he was up to. But pretty soon, a neighbor had a block party one summer, cooked some awesome ribs, and we all gathered in his backyard. And when I got there a little bit late, the only seat left was next to this guy that I was very suspicious of. And so I had to sit down next to him. And as it turned out, over the next 30 minutes, we kind of talked and got to know each other, made small talk, and pretty soon I realized this guy wasn't scary. He was just a guy like me that wanted to be a good neighbor and care for the people that lived around him. And so we developed this neighborly friendship. What I saw happen between myself and this neighbor was some pretty magical stuff. Instead of me being suspicious, now I knew this person. This person had a name, and this person began a neighborly relationship with me as well. And so what I started noticing is when my kids would be out riding their bikes, this neighbor made sure that it was safe. If there were cars coming, they made sure my kids knew, made sure the cars knew that there were kids there. We began to trade lawn tools and things like that. If I needed eggs, I could go over to his house and get eggs or whatever it was. This is the neighborhood that all of us deserve to be a part of, and Community Renewal has a plan to make that happen. One of the ways people can get involved is with the We Care team. That's what we call it, a very simple We Care team. It's this network of caring neighbors throughout our community, in every neighborhood. And the only thing it requires is for a person to be willing to say, hey, I'm a caring person, and I'm going to continue to be a caring person. And so we ask you to sign a little card that says you're a caring person, and put a sign which we'll give you that says We Care in your yard. It identifies you as part of the solution in our community, that we care. You care right on your block. And we're already beginning to see We Care signs pop up around town, and we're going to see more and more. People are learning that caring really does work, and we can change our community by learning to care for the people that live around us. Some neighborhoods are going to require a little more work. They're a little more challenged. And in those neighborhoods, we have something that we call the Friendship House, where we hire a staff member, and that staff member and their family moves into a disadvantaged neighborhood, and they live right there in the neighborhood. They begin to get to know the neighbors, and their whole job is to get to know every neighbor that lives there and try to bring those neighbors together. And out of their house, all sorts of things go on, all sorts of different social services. We've got after-school programs, we've got job training, we've got GED assistance, all sorts of things that occur right there in the Friendship House, and that person simply exists there to care for and love that neighborhood.
Our plan is to not live our lives in the 4 walls of our home. Our plan is to live, love, and laugh and do life outside of our house, in the neighborhood, on the streets, in the parks, in people's driveways, where that we can see and meet them and they can learn to love us and we can learn to love them. My wife, my son, and daughter are here with me, living, doing life in the same community that you guys are. We live in our home with the whole purpose of loving each other and loving our neighbors. We don't drive in from the outside of the community to work and do our things. We live and do everything right here our family works together to help love other families. The Friendship House will be a safe, trusted place in the neighborhood where young children and families alike can come together, meet, do life, and just love each other. There will be many opportunities for them to learn skills, learn about themselves, learn to love God and love others. We pray that whatever it is that we're doing in the Friendship House turns to be a beacon of light to the other neighborhoods, and know that our doors are always open to people in this community.
The most important thing that we need in our community, and this is the heart and soul of community renewal, are our block leaders. Block leaders coordinate care on their blocks. They get to know their neighbors. We give them the tools they need to be successful in this, and we give them ongoing support in that effort. Block leaders help neighbors out. Some neighbors aren't talking to each other, some neighbors are mad at each other, some don't know who each other are, they're suspicious, and block leaders kind of bring down all of those obstacles that sometimes we see in engaging our neighbors. They facilitate that and make sure that happens in every neighborhood. So we're looking for volunteers who would care, who'd be willing to give a little bit more to make sure their neighborhood is a safe and thriving neighborhood.